Hello and welcome back to Katie's Business Tips. Michael Lapede here, talking to you in this series about tips for buying or investing in a business. You ever think about that? You want to buy a new business or invest in a new business, or maybe you've done it and you have lots of experience. That's great. Some people do very well, some people don't. The first rule when buying or investing in a business is to buy that business at an attractive price. So before you do that, you got to get a valuation done. You got to know the value of the company, and there's various ways to value a company. But the bottom line is where people make a mistake is they value it just based on the past. The true value of the company is what it's going to do in the future. So you've got to consider that when valuing a business, and this is not a series on valuing business. We'll probably do a video series on that. But you know, the true value of a business is not just what it is today, what it's the past, but what can it do for you in the future. That's where you truly get the value. And we want to buy this business at an attractive price. So attractive means that we buy the business with a margin of safety, hopefully, right? A margin of safety that we're buying maybe a little below the value. Want to negotiate that price. You know, obviously if we can get 50 cents on the dollar, that's great. But if we're buying even at 75, 80 cents on the dollar, whatever we can buy for a discounted price of what we think the value is, we're already doing good, okay? The price is not equal to the value. Keep that in mind. You can deal with any value. Now, one thing I will put a caveat here I just thought of is that if you're buying in with a family member, someone that's connected with you by blood, we call that non-arm's length. Now that's immediate family. They can be connected by blood longer distance, but the immediate family members, it's called non-arm's length, and therefore you must buy at the fair market value. Now, if you're just buying into someone that's not related closely to you, then it can be any price, just as if you bought an old muscle car. Whatever price the buyer and the seller agree on for that old muscle car is what you agreed on, right? It's the same thing for these business shares or buying into a business, whatever you agree on, unless they're a close family member, which is non-arm's length. Now, the key is, remember when you're buying in, you want to think like a business owner right off the bat, not a stock investor. Because when you're buying into a private business, you're not just buying a stock. It's not like buying a share of Apple where they have a board of directors and all the systems and processes and policies and manuals and everything's running smooth. No, small business is not run that smoothly and simple. And there's changes all the time to the landscape. Things are constantly evolving. So we want to make sure we're already thinking like a business owner when we get in. So we're looking at things like financial statements. We're understanding how the business operates and who does what, right? This is very important. And when you buy a business, buy something that you would keep for long term, right? This is not something you're going to buy and get out right away. Now, I'm not saying you won't, because if it goes up in 3 to 5 years, you're going to buy it. You do have to own the shares for 2 years to claim the capital gains exemption. That's also very important. But buy a business that you would keep for the long term. I'm not saying you have to keep for the long term, but when you're buying a business, think of what business, yeah, I could own this for 10, 20 years, right? Think of that. Not saying you're going to, but think that way. And when we're buying, we want to make sure that, you know, we're getting involved in a business that has meaning. We talk about the 4 M's. Meaning, does that business have meaning to you, right? It's got to be something you're excited about, because otherwise you're just buying in and hoping to make money. That's not very good. You want to be excited because then you're going to pay attention to what's going on. 2 is moat. Is it a business that protected from competitors or any other attacks from the outside? We call it a moat. Right? Is there good management? Is the company being managed well? Right? You want to look into these things when you're doing your due diligence. And are you buying in a margin of safety? If you could do all 4 of those, you're doing very well. And does the business, you know, when it has meaning to you, I mean, let's be honest, you know, I'm not saying you're going to be involved. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But you're going to pay attention. You're going to be on top. And you're going to have more relevant knowledge about the business itself and be able to put better input in with the management team. Let's be honest, if the business has meaning to you. Now, 3 questions that you should answer for this is, what do you love to do? Professional, recreation, right? What do you love to do? Does this tie in? What are you really good at? And what do you spend your money on? What do you spend your time and money on? Because if you can't answer yes to any of these questions about their business you're going to buy, you probably shouldn't buy it. Those simple questions to ask. We'll get more into things in the next video, but for now, thanks for being a part of our business tips, and we'll look forward to seeing you in that next video.